The Now to Live show is your network connection to the spirit of sobriety.
Right. So the Now to Live show, it came, it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Listen, I've been blessed with the opportunity to obtain sobriety for my own self in my own life, and I'm very grateful for that sobriety. It's been, it's been one day at a time, but it's been for the past over 35 years, one day at a time, that I've been able to stay clean and serene. And over those years, I realized that a lot of people are struggling in a lot of different ways, not only from addiction, but from mental illness, from anxiety, from depression, from circumstances and situations in their life that they don't know how to deal with it. And, there are tools that we have that can be utilized to help us break out of that type of lifestyle. So in essence, what the Now to Live show is about is to really be focused on being present in the moment, and to realize that now is really all we ever have. Everything that we do in our life is done in the now, regardless of whether or not we understand that or not. If you really think about it, it's always now. So the idea behind the Now to Live show is to create a community of people like myself who have had the ability or the blessings in their life where they've been able to overcome difficulties or devastating disabilities, be it mental or addiction or whatever, to create normalcy in their life and to be happy and to obtain joy and peace in their life. And so that's the whole purpose of the Now to Live show. It's a community of like-minded people who have overcome issues in their life that are willing to and are very happy to want to give back to those who are presently maybe dealing with those situations and those issues. And so that we're here to help. We're not here to tell people what to do. That's not the purpose of this. We're here to share our experience and our strength and our hope so that we can maybe resonate with somebody who's having difficulty understanding what they need to do for themselves, and maybe they'll identify with how we've done it, and maybe they can apply it to their own life and be successful with that. The tools that really freed me were the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, I was a tongue-chewing, babbling idiot drunk. By the time I was 42 years old, I had completely lost everything in my life, except for my own life. I had one of these miraculous moments in my life where I had a moment of sanity, a microsecond of sanity, and I realized that, I can't do this anymore, and if I continue to do what I'm doing, I'm going to be dead. So for me, it was the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Those 12 steps, I believe, are divinely inspired. I know they come directly from God. Like, once again, I'm not here to tell you that the only way you're going to obtain happiness or joy in your life, that you have to do the 12 steps. I would highly recommend you do the 12 steps because they certainly work for me and they work for a lot of other people, millions and millions and millions of people. But I also understand that the real healing process takes place through identification. Most people who have issues in their life that are so disabling feel that they're the only ones who have that issue. And through identification, through hearing other people's stories, you find out that you're not alone. You find out that people have pretty much the same experiences that you're dealing with right now, and they figured out a way to overcome them. It's not a curriculum, it's a course on how to live life. And there's a really significant focus on spirituality. I will tell you that the spirituality is at the key, it's at the center of sobriety for anyone. As far as I'm concerned, spirituality is required. So if you don't have spirituality right now, that's okay. We're going to help you. We're going to help you find it and obtain it. It's interesting when you can identify, then you have an opportunity to rectify. And when I was in the throes of my destructive behavior, things were kind of like reversed. I became comfortable being uncomfortable. I was creating such discomfort in my life, it became normal for me, and I became comfortable with that. So what I needed to do is I needed to learn through others who had experiences like mine, how they were able to reverse that again and be comfortable being comfortable. People who are in the throes of the disability of addiction or mental illness, anxiety. It's pretty organic. It's situational. And, in essence, what happens is when you get into that rut, you keep on creating the same issues for yourself, and they just they expound themselves, and they become bigger and bigger and bigger. And what's that old cliche about how do you stop digging a hole? You put the shovel down, right? So it's about learning how to put the shovel down, and then we're going to help you build the ladder to get out of that hole. Happiness is the key to life. If you're not happy, you're not really living, you're surviving. And too many people are in survival mode. In reality, there's really nothing to worry about. You shouldn't be worried about anything. I mean, every answer to any question that you could ever think of, you already know the answer to. You just need to dig deep. It's there. You are a fully functional miracle. The fact that you can have a consciousness and you can walk and you can talk and you can breathe and you can see and you can experience and you can feel. These are all things that are miraculous. Think about that for a minute. So don't separate yourself from you. Don't do that, because once you do that, then you're not living the life that you're supposed to be living. You're confusing yourself. Happiness becomes a reality when you can absolutely love yourself. Until such time that you can absolutely love yourself, it's really, really difficult for you to absolutely love someone else. So when I say that, I'm not talking about it in a way where, conceit or ego or any of that. I'm talking about marveling, just being just so excited about the fact that you are present, you are here, you are experiencing things that you take for granted. There is not a time in your life that you live that's not miraculous. There's not a time. Whether it is perceived as good or bad, or happy or sad, it's the experience. You're experiencing things that is miraculous. You should marvel at those things. The happiest that I've ever been and that I ever am is when I am not thinking about me. The most happy I can become is when I am thinking about how I can be beneficial to other people. How can I help them? An example, right now, we're having a devastating fire here in Southern California, not 45, 50 miles from where we're at right now. Any material things that they've had are completely obliterated, completely gone. And so what did my wife and I do this morning? Well, what we did is we went around our home and we tried to find as much stuff as we could that could benefit these folks. Clothing, coats, jackets, food, water, toiletries, anything that can help them, and our neighbors are doing the same. And this is what we're supposed to do as human beings. We're supposed to be there for each other. Happiness comes from the spirit of service. What does that mean? It means to be led by the Spirit and to be willing to be of service to those who are in need. And by doing so, you become happy. It's just the way it is, and it's a great feeling, and it's something that can benefit not only those that you're serving, but most importantly yourself. You're going to feel good about yourself by doing this. So let me tell you about the 12 steps. The 12 steps are like a mountain range. So let's call it the mountain range of the 12 steps. And here I'm not a mountain climber, right? But I need to climb these mountains because that's the only way I'm going to live. That's the only way I'm going to survive. That's the only way I'm going to achieve sobriety, find happiness, and so forth. I have to climb these mountains. Now, if I attempted to climb these mountains by myself, I'm probably not going to make it. Because, somewhere along the line, I start climbing that mountain, I'm going to fall, I'm going to get lost, and I'm going to give up, and I'm going to turn back around, or I'm going to fall off, or whatever. So, the 12 steps helped me because I did them the way they're supposed to be done. And I did them with someone who's already done them. This is the whole idea of what the community of the Now to Live show is. To be able to work with other people who have already experienced what you're experiencing and has been able to overcome the issues that are creating you the most problems. And so the 12 steps are a very significant reason why I've been able to overcome these issues, because first and foremost, I did it with someone who's done them already. And so they, in essence, became my Sherpa. I found someone I was comfortable with who was willing to help me and guide me up these 12 steps, and I took those steps. And it took work. It's effort. It requires real effort. It starts with humility. But as you climb step 1, and he's leading you or she's leading you up to the top of the pinnacle of this mountain of step 1, which really is about being honest, right? That's the whole purpose of step 1, is you have to once in your life become honest with yourself completely. And as you get to the top of the mountain, that honesty becomes so prevalent and so real and so understanding in your mind and your heart and your soul, that as you stand on top of that mountain, you look out and you see things. You have vision, and I like to refer to it as spiritual vision, that you never had before. And then you look over and there's another pinnacle a little bit higher, and that's step 2. So with your guide, you come down step 1. You've already had that experience. You understand what it is now. And then you start ascending step 2. And as you get to the top of step 2, which is hope, you gain greater hope, and you have an understanding of and greater vision of what hope is in your life. And as you look out in front of you, once again, you see another step, another mountain, a little bit higher. And that's step 3. So you, once again, with your guide, you descend, and then you go to step 3, and you ascend through the guidance of the person that you're with who's already been there. And so forth and so on, until you get to step 12, which is the highest of the 12 mountains. And you get to the top of that mountain, which is service, which means to reach out to help others, right? You get to the top of that mountain, and you're on the pinnacle of that mountain, and all of a sudden you realize you have 360 degrees of spiritual vision, comprehension of how to deal with things, how to figure things out in your life, and more importantly, how that you can benefit others and to be of service with them. I promise you that if you follow our direction, if you allow us the opportunity to help you, then you too, you can deal with anything in your life and not have it put you into a situation of destructive behavior or devastation or any of that. And we'll be holding hands on the top of that mountain.